Now you're on Shameless, William H. Macy, and I just want to stay on Shameless for a while because as your big bro, like I know the human beings on that show and the impact that they have still in your life. Talk to me about like that experience with those humans and like how you're carrying those relationships forward.
I can and will talk about Shameless forever. First of all, John Wells and for John Levy, I think casting directors don't get enough credit in this business to a network that didn't have a lot of diversity. Mm-hmm. And this particular show, as you know, even when I was going through the audition process, wasn't necessarily written for me. It was taken from a British version, right? Mm-hmm. The British version, Veronica, was a short hair blonde girl. That's what it was. So for them to have the vision, and at the time, now it's so common for everybody to have locks. Everybody's locked now. But yep. You know that when I had, it was they wanted to put wigs on me. Yep. They wanted me not to look like it. You know, it was
too black. Don't be too black.
Exactly.
Too ethnic.
Exactly. Right? Too ethnic. Yeah. So for John Wells and for John Levy to just be like, be you, and to put me on a high profile, what became a very high profile show, was such a big step at that time. Yeah. Shameless in general, people don't realize the risk that it was to put Shameless on, because we really did set the groundwork for all the risque show, for the euphorias that you see today, because it was such a success. People were not purchasing those kinds of shows that just went there. It was open to everybody being nude. It was not any particular age or color. Everybody showed their body on that show.
And a loving interracial couple. Flawed,
and a loving
interracial
couple that we didn't need to comment about, right?
Right.
We didn't make it a thing. It just was Kev and Veronica. And it's something that Steve Howie and I are very proud of, is the fact that we just were the couple that was on there. It wasn't anything that became a storyline until later on where we tackled certain issues, you know?
Y'all were great.
That were relevant. Thank you. And he's still my best friend. So let's talk about the people. Jeremy Allen White, I still speak to 3 times a week. He is my little brother. Jeremy came in 18 years old with a black eye. And I said, I'm going to take care of. I am going to take care of you because you need my help. And they call me Mama Bear. Everybody still calls me Mama Bear. Emma Rose Kinney, they were 9. Emma and Ethan Kurtowski were 9 years old when they started the show.
Yeah.
By the end of it, they were 20.
Emma was a homeowner in my neighborhood by the time that shit was over.
That's what I was just, and buying houses. And now she has multiple. And we went through the process of divorces and pregnancies and miscarriages. And we experienced life together in 11 years. Yeah. And that really translated into a family that I still have today. I will always be grateful for Shameless. I know some people tend to turn against what made them popular a lot, mm-hmm. and they don't want to hear Veronica. But if you call me Veronica in the streets, I'm still like, hey! Because I know what it took to get it, and I know what that means to still be recognized as Veronica.
Well, that's huge. So tell me a little bit about the decision, and this is kind of a why not me moment, and why not me is really about looking internally and challenging yourself to pivot left or pivot right or to level up or whatever that thing is. I think there's a big why not me moment for you when you decided to direct.
Yeah.
So talk to me about like that desire to direct episodes of Shameless and if there's future plans in that lane of directing.
Yeah. So I was number 8 on the call sheet for Shameless. You had all the kids, you had Bill, you have Emmy, you have the kids, then you have Kev and Veronica. Steve would be above me because he had done Reeves. So I was number 8. So generally speaking, if you're going to go into directing, people think it would be norm. It would be like Bill and Emmy would be a given. Shameless allowed me to have all my babies on the show. So I didn't have, that was done. Once I finished what I wanted to accomplish in my personal life, I realized there was more that I wanted to achieve as an artist. I knew producing wise that I would want to do projects after that. When you have a platform and you have such a gift to do a show for so long, it is your time to set up your next steps. What does that look like? It looks like you're working with one of the greatest, John Wells. you must take and learn whatever you can from him, right?
Amen.
It would be
Amen.
silly for you not to take that opportunity. So don't look at being number 8 on the call sheet. Look at what your goals are. Once I had my son, I said, what do I want to do? I got a call from a writer, Mike O'Malley, who was like, are you directing yet? Because everybody knows me on the set as like the unpaid producer and the moving around and the keeping the energy, but also seeing things and making directors feel comfortable and then also giving them the eye when I'm like, not with that one, you know? And so everybody knows me as Mama Bear. So I was already doing the job, but it never dawned on me about directing. I was like, no, what do you mean? I'm not directing. And he's like, oh, and it planted the seed. And that's all that needed to happen. I went and I sat in John Wells' office. I said, John, I want to direct. I think that is something, I think I have a story to tell through my lens, and I would be a fool not to learn from you. John is always hesitant when actors say they want to direct, because the tendency is for it to be some sort of label to hyphenate yourself.
Some vanity shit.
For hyphenating. I said, yeah. I said, you know me as an actor. You don't know me as a student. My daddy, this circles back, instilled in us the learning and to educate ourselves. I had a plan. Here's who I want to learn from. At first, I wanted to go with Anthony Hemingway, who's the greatest, but it was really hard because everybody is shooting different places. So it was really hard to arrange schedules. So what do I have to do under the confines of Shameless? All right, I want to learn from you, John Wells. Our DP is going to be directing. I don't know a lot about lenses and stuff. I want to learn from him. And then Silvertree, who is still my mentor to this day, who I like the way she moves and her finesse on the set. So I came to him with a plan. In that meeting, John said, what I've learned is that actors will always choose another job because of the money. You don't get a lot for directing at first. And instead of directing, I said, John, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. So I shadowed, and it wasn't the selfie, hi, I'm shadowing. Oh my gosh. And then I leave after 2 hours, which they didn't know because they're used to, and I'm not saying all actors, but a lot of actors do that when they say they're so-called shadowing. I was there from the beginning of the morning to the end of the day, the beginning of every prep day to the end of the day, beginning of every shoot day to the end of the day. If I had to shoot and be Veronica, I would shoot and I would go back to shadow to the shadower.
You being the first person on set, people don't understand who you are. Like, you're already up at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, working out. Yeah.
So like to show up at 7 is like just easy peasy for you. Yeah,
no, that it is, because I wake up. So during my Shameless days, I would wake up at 4 o'clock. I go work out. I go to the set. I shoot my day, come back. I always start my mornings with a workout, because if not, I just feel like it doesn't get done. And my philosophy on working out is this is my temple of my body, of what I have, and also for what I do for work. If I don't get it done in the morning, I feel like I haven't accomplished the day. So that's why and even now I wake up early before I take kids to school to work out. But anyway, so once John saw that, and once I was shadowing him and he would ask questions and he realized that I had the answers, not only did I have the answers, because as a shadower, you don't want to be a know-it-all, but you do want to show that you, and I would say, and I would be able to problem solve, he saw it. And once he saw it, John doesn't give you opportunities. You have to earn them. That's the one thing that you got to know about John Wells. He didn't become one of the greatest for no reason. So John Wells was like, she's ready. And then I earned shooting an episode, directing an episode in our final season of Shameless. John, to this day, will send me emails and he will say, why are you not directing? Are you directing? Are you directing? And so now I'm producing on Found, #1 on Found. All of this was because I set up, while I was on Shameless, what my goals were. I never want to be just an actor for hire again.
Right. You've earned it.
I never wanted to do that again. No, I'm not going to do that. Yes, I was number 8, but by the time I left out of 11 years, I was directing. I was it was a rise. I have a mentor that is John Wells because I set that goal. So then when I left and I signed an overall deal with NBC Uni, even really before I was done with Shameless, because they saw that I was already making these steps and they asked what I want to do. I said, I never want to be just an actor for hire again. I know what I bring to the set as a producer. because I'm an on the ground producer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not just a hyphen. And I know that I want to direct because it lit such a fire in me. And so any project that they would present to me, if it wasn't in the vein of, you know, the producers don't want to have another producer on or whatever the case may be, that wasn't the project for me.
Right.
That was because I knew what my goals were. Never just be an actor for hire again.